Hello and welcome to episode 39 of Not Right in the Head, starring Joyce the Hammer Nance and
This is Paul Richardson.
aka Dr. Wonky.
Mm-hmm.
So we are here on this exciting last day of November.
2022.
2022, which even years are a little bit iffy and stuff, but you know, what are you going to do? Skip every other year? And a follow-up question, can that be done? If so, put me down. All right, so we're going to talk about the super funny, not really funny, super interesting, no, not really interesting. This guy that is planning on taking over the world, and it's not Putin, it's not Trump.
Not Nick, what's his name?
Oh, Nick Fuentes?
Fuentes.
Definitely not. No.
But the same ilk though.
But it would be hard to say which one would be worse. But no, it is the super boring Ron DeSantis.
Oh, you mean he's just another Trump wannabe.
He is, but and I don't.
Another Trump loser.
Yeah, he is a loser.
So I think the first thing to do, sorry to interrupt here, but first thing in discrediting anyone in character assassination is to start mispronouncing his name.
Oh, okay. So how do you want to do? What is your proposal?
So what you mean, Ron DeSantis?
DeSantis? I don't even know what that means.
DeSantis.
I don't even know what you're trying to say. What are you trying to say?
Ron DeSantis. Isn't that who you're talking about?
What?
See, this is working perfectly. Who? Ron DeSantis.
That is not a word.
DeSantis. Yeah, like Ron DeSantis.
Okay, well, I think you need to work on that idea, Dr. Wong.
I think that's it.
That's one of those ideas that you think is funny, you take it to an open mic and no one laughs, and then you got to go.
Well, that's okay. That's what they did. That's what they did to Nancy Pelosi. Is they started calling her Nancy Pelosi.
I don't know what that means either.
Well, I know. Well, what you do is you take the accent and put it on the wrong syllable.
Oh, I see. Well,
DeSantis, Ron DeSantis.
That is, I'm gonna say, just too far advanced for me, and since I represent the general public, it's too far for the general public.
It's like they did with they didn't call him Saddam Hussein, they called him Saddam.
Okay, well that's
Saddam's out there.
Okay, but that's just the privileged American speak. But this is just a different thing, and it's not working for me. I say go back to the drawing board, Dr. Wonky. Anyways, I want to start off with a short history of this guy, whatever his name is.
Ron DeSantis.
Ronnie D. We'll call him Ronnie D.
Ronnie D.
That does make him sound more friendly than he actually is, but we'll just go with that for now. So I don't remember how old he is. He's some age, maybe in his 50s. I don't know. He graduated from Yale and Yale College, or I guess they call
Yale Law.
No.
Oh, not Yale Law.
Yale University and Harvard Law. So,
okay. That's right, Harvard Law. I remember that.
Yeah. So, just he obviously.
What's the matter? He couldn't even get into his own law school.
That is a good point, but maybe he wanted to flash those two different names around just because.
Well, that's what you would say if you were a Yale meanie, which they all are. You would say you couldn't even get into your own law school. And so Harvard is, I mean, they each, well, for sure the Yaleys would consider Harvard a step down, right?
Well, for sure, yeah.
I don't know about the Harvardies, but
Uh-huh. Well, yeah, it's hard to know who to diss when you go to both of them. So
Right.
that would be reason for me to just stick with San Francisco State. But in any case, then he went into the Navy as, guess what his profession was? A lawyer. And
He was a lawyer for the Navy.
yeah,
Wow, that was
in
he worked on a submarine as a lawyer.
no, well, he did go to, I think it was Iraq, as a lawyer for Operation Desert Shield, I think. But I don't think he was on the front lines, whether he was in Iraq or not, which I do believe he was. And then when he got back, he got a cushy job in the Navy that I forgot to write this down, but it had something to do with it was political, even though he was still in the Navy. He got out in the Navy, I think, of 2010, and then he was elected to Congress in 2012. But basically, he was borderline going in that direction when he was in the Navy. He was a congressman for a while, and then he went right to governor. I think the first time around he barely won. And
That was in 2018, right?
for governor?
Yeah.
I think that is correct. Yes.
Okay. So he barely won in 20. Okay.
Yeah, he barely won the first time around.
I can't remember. He didn't run against Charlie Crist then. He ran against
No,
somebody.
no, he ran against. His name is escaping me.
Yeah.
I see his face, but I don't remember. You can see this is a very thorough biography. I've crossed every T and dotted every I. But let's see. I guess it was MSNBC called him possibly one of the most dangerous figures in American politics.
Now, given that he's gone to Yale, good Catholic school, and going to Harvard Law School, highly respect, and then served in the United States military as a lawyer. Why the concern? Help me understand.
Now, +1 734 552 7166. Hi. Game speech off.
We will pause while Paul's computer talks to him. All right. Yeah. Okay. You done chatting with your computer?
No, I'm done.
All right. Okay. Well, these are real life people, Paul and I, and we have other things going on besides this invaluable podcast. And so sometimes it will just come on during the invaluable podcast. And that's to live with and to understand.
No need to explain.
I do, because this is America and we are an open book.
Oh yeah, right. Wow, man. Everything that's yours is mine, and everything that's mine is mine.
And also I heard the greatest quote today. It was, I do not read books, I read minds. So
great.
That was awesome. That was almost worth waking up early for.
So again, we're back to Ronnie D. Ronnie D's why is he the fascist icon that MSNBC projects him to be?
Well, they say that he has a innate ability to translate political vindictiveness, cruelty, and demagoguery into results, political results.
So he's just another Trump.
He's like a Trump, but without the clown part.
Yeah, he's just there's nothing funny about him.
No, he's not. No, he doesn't. He
doesn't have a warm fuzzy side like Trump does.
Well, yeah, Trump doesn't have a warm fuzzy side. He just has a really stupid side, and so that's entertaining to some extent. But the late night comedians are going to have more trouble with DeSantis. At least is first, but he is so mean that I really don't think it's going to translate across the country. Like there is no pleasant side. It's like you do it his way, or he will throw you in jail. Like here's an example:
like Nick, like Nick,
his
like that Nick.
attorney general,
Yeah.
who was elected. Or no, what? Maybe it was his attorney general, but an attorney general in the state who was elected said he wasn't going to enforce his abortion law, and so he fired him. Which
Right.
that's not legal.
No, I don't think the attorney general can be fired by the governor. The attorney general is an elected position.
Right. Yeah. So he either has to be impeached or recalled. I believe
Right.
those are the procedures. But be that as it may, the guy
Well,
I don't believe has been collecting a check. So my guess is that they'll drag it out in the courts, drag it out.
yeah, well,
I don't know if they've already gotten a replacement
well, it doesn't matter.
general, but I don't. Yeah.
Well, no, he doesn't want to.
It's
Here's the point: fascists don't want to get a replacement. The reason he got rid of him is so that he can be the attorney general. So he's the de facto law enforcement.
If you go back to Trump, and his example was he would get rid of the real ones, like, and he could, if they were like cabinet positions, like for example, the Secretary of Defense that he fired 2 days after the 2022 election, and then replace with a person that will be your robot, basically, and not a snarky one like Suri, but a real nice one for you. And so, and he doesn't have to get him confirmed by anybody because it's just acting. Then they will do whatever you say. Yes, boss.
Well,
right?
let me ask you this about Ron DeSantis in Florida.
I think Ronnie D is easier.
I know, but DeSantis sounds like something that you need like topical medication for. Something that's on.
Sounds like something that you put on toast. It sounds like avocado toast. That's what it sounds like to me. Sorry.
It sounds like kind of a fungal infection of the feet. Like, ooh, you've got DeSantis. Does it itch? I haven't heard that. Does he? To me, from what little I've heard of him, he is a little short in the affability department.
He has no personality.
Yeah, he doesn't have a personality. He doesn't have any charisma, and I'm just wondering that. So he definitely gins up the mean in people, and is he kind of gins up people, gets people to be vindictive. But I'm wondering if that in the environment of Florida alone Florida is not a normal place. You understand?
I know it's so sad because it's so beautiful.
Oh, I don't think so. I think that if you're driving down, A1A, 95, A1A, as long as you're looking to the ocean side, oh, it's lovely. Oh, look at that beautiful ocean. But if you look to the other side, it's just hot, humid wasteland. Yeah,
I know.
Scrubby trees, a few palms, but the nice part is all the perimeter. The perimeter, kind of the edging of 1 or 2 miles. That's the perimeter on the ocean side, but the rest of the inland, I just think is awful. And it's got crappy, humid, icky weather. So everybody that lives there is a little, and by that is what is true is everybody that lives there is addled. They have billboards for every kind of medication that get your doctor to prescribe this.
Well, that's the old people population, which they have the biggest population of old people, I think, in the world at a place called the Villages.
Yeah. Well, it's just a whole. It's kind of like a lot of transplants from New York and up in the Midwest in New York, people transplant down there, and there's a lot of just weird dynamic there. So I don't know that. I don't know if it's reflective of the fact that he can. Of course, his big win this past November was based in the fact that heavy duty gerrymandering by the legislature, or him. Actually, he did it.
From what I can tell about the legislature there, if he wants it, he snaps his finger and they click their heels and do it.
Yeah. And I don't know that he's one who can be effective in to be effective at the federal level. You really have to know the system and know that just snapping your fingers doesn't get it done. You can, Lyndon Johnson knew the system. That's why he was so effective. He knew the legislative process inside out. So yeah, he was. I know that behind closed doors, he was kind of a kick your ass kind of guy. But I also know that he knew how to do it. And I think Joe Biden is another one who knows that. He knows how to get things done, which is why in this sliver thin majority that he has right now, he's actually getting things done. And this Respect for Marriage Act is going to pass. Another victory for Biden.
Well, and they just got the taxes today.
So I'm sorry, you cut out.
The Congress got the taxes today. Yeah. I mean, they only had till the end of this year, and then that would be it. They would be gone to oblivion.
Yeah, but I don't think, from what I see of Ron DeSantos, Ronnie D, that he has really I don't think he doesn't seem to be naturally cut out for it. He's naturally cut out to push people around, and he might be able to do that in Florida. But I don't know that, and I don't know that is something that certainly comes. Do you think it's accurate to say that definitely comes across in his personal presentation, that he's somebody who's willing to push people around, and do other people pick that up?
I don't know, but we have to go back to remember that he was an officer in the Navy, and they are literally trained to push people around.
True.
Practice it.
Yeah, maybe he still got some of that. That's true.
Come natural to a lot of people, and they are trained to push people around and expect people to obey them. And
I wonder what his rank was. I bet he was at least a.
I think Navy starts out with ensign, and then maybe he was. I'm not sure what I was in the Army, so I don't know all the Navy ranks, but he was either in 01 or 02, something like that. Because I mean, actually, he was in for a while. He might have been in like 6 or 8 years, but
so what's the strategy?
Maybe he made it up to whatever the third level is.
What's the strategy to deal with somebody who's going to really try to create a lot of divisiveness with race? Okay, we know what he's going to do. Race, gender issues, abortion.
Right.
Not only, but
he's going to do all the wedge issues. That's a guarantee. He's going to go after trans people. Like, I don't even know. I don't want to even think about it, but I know it's going to be horrible. It already is horrible.
But is that something that you can be convincing with? I mean, first of all, what you have to do is make people angry, and people who are willing to get angry about these things they're already going to go that way anyway. I don't know how easy it is to convince people to become angry about something that either they don't care that much about.
Well, but here's the thing: is this is their tactic: is they take something that is a wedge issue already, and that you may care about for reasons that you think are real, like biblical reasons, which I don't think are real, but people do. So, and then they make a straight line
to your children,
something that you know is horrible. Like if you let trans people, even walk the face of the earth, they will be a pedophile, and
and it's all about your children.
Pedophile, they will kill your kids.
It's all about threats to your children.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's a big one. That's
okay. So do people? I know ignorant people might believe that, but I don't know that it's it really Okay, so we know what they're going to do. So what's the approach? I mean, because to me, my approach would be to say that, do you have so little influence over your children that someone, and you don't even know an LGBTQ plus person, but somehow you think that your influence is so slight over your child that that somehow will infiltrate their mentality and their psychology?
Well, this is what I think might help, because it actually, like, the whole gay deal, like, even, I don't know how many years ago, 10 years ago, 12 years ago, I don't remember when the Defense of Marriage Act was, but from there until the early 2000s at least, you know, gay people were demonized, and you know, the rest of the population were just scared of them.
Well,
Like,
the Defense of
it
Marriage
was
was,
for the same reason, like they were pedophiles, and they were going to kill your kids and convert them if they can. But then, you know, in the early 2000s and in the 2000 teens, I don't know how you refer to these words, these years, but in any case, it'll be good when we just get a good decade under our belt, like the 20s. But anyways, in between the early 2000s and now, a huge amount of movies and TV shows have included almost in every TV show, or at least the ones I watch, and I just watch them randomly. I don't pick them, because they include gay people just living normal parts of their life, and they have done
Right.
it a goodly amount. And now, when it comes to this current bill that just passed yesterday in the Senate about, I can't remember the name of the bill. Do you remember the name of it? Anyways, Respect for Marriage Act. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, anyways, it had kind of flip flopped in the percentage of people that were like thinking, yeah, why not? Why can't they get married? They're just people, you know, because they had been portrayed as people these many years on TV, like, oh, just a lot. Before, it was like in like the 1990s, it was like, you know, one of the women on Friends kissed one of the other women on Friends, and that was like a big scandal.
Right.
And now, you know, it's just like regular, and it took away the bad things that they said had to be true about this group of people that they possibly didn't know anything about, because either, you know, they insulated themselves so much, or you know, or if they saw something, they went in the other direction.
Well, I would say that.
So I would say the same thing needs to be done, and it's not going to be done in a second, because you don't see this on TV. About trans people are a whole lot less, and they're more subtle about it than they are about just the gay issue. The gay is front and center, is out there, and is fine. But the trans is still like just intimated, like it's like the super duper sin. And why? I mean,
well, I think the approach is, you know, it is the case often that oddly, it's not social reflection that changes that. It is actually legislation that seems to change.
They need to go hand in hand. Yes, when they
they do. But what I'm saying is that the legislation,
the Oberfell ruling, that was huge.
Yeah, it was.
Yes,
that was a piece of essentially legislation or judiciation, just
via the Supreme Court.
Yeah,
but
I still would call that legislation.
Because in a good way, they did it. They did the good thing instead of the bad thing that they just did, that they're wanting to do now and have already done.
And so I think it makes it hard for Ronnie D to buck that trend when the country is going that way. For him to try and turn it around, he might turn it around for, you know, he'll get the Christian, by the way, the perverse Christian right. They are a bunch of perverts. I just read this book called Jesus and John Wayne. It's called Jesus and John Wayne, how white evangelicals courted a faith that fractionalized America. And the one thing that struck me about the book, I was aware of it a little bit, but is how pervasively hung up on sex these people are.
Oh,
they are
without
totally hung up.
question. Without question. Yeah, I was gonna say I guess it was in the 1990s. I was living in Alameda, and we wanted, and I was a part of a little group of it's called the Lesbian Potluck Society. Sounds pretty innocent, right? Which it was. But my wife at the time, who was a lawyer, she had gone to a few city hall meetings, and so she noticed that at a lot of the city hall meetings, they got proclamations for Asian American Day and all kinds of different days. So she thought that we could ask for a proclamation for Gay Pride. I don't know if it was for a week or a month or whatever, just what they have in San Francisco and stuff like that. But this was across the bay. From San Francisco, and it was literally night and day of awareness. So we just thought we could ask for that. She did just ask for that, and he ended up issuing it, and then that town almost literally caught on fire from the anger and outrage that the mayor had declared, I think it was June, as Gay Pride Month in Alameda. And so they had another city hall meeting after that. I don't remember, because there was a 2-year thing. First there was that one, and there was fallout, and then there was another one where the next time, I think it was the next time, where she asked for it again, and they said the mayor had not gotten elected because he had done that. And so the next time, the next city council was like, no. So then we got into this big thing of how we were going to bring it to the city council. Then there was hundreds of people, all the TV stations with their big towers out in front of the courthouse. And it went on for 4, 5, 6 hours that night about that same subject of if it was okay to issue this piece of paper. That's what it all boiled down to, a piece of paper saying June was Gay Pride Month. And so there was 2 sides, obviously. One side was for the Gay Pride Month, and the other side was the anti-Gay Pride Month. And so the people that were pro would just go up and say logical things. Look, we're just like other people, and it's not a big deal, blah, blah, blah. And the other side, everything they had to say was about sex.
Well, I think I would like to offer at a meeting like that, instead of saying, okay, so you want to be anti-pride, you think this should be Gay Shame Month, or maybe you'd like your own month, maybe you'd like Straight Pride Month, or maybe we could all agree on, let's have Human Sexuality Pride Month. How about that? So we could all be happy about whatever we are, right?
And that would make nobody happy. But
exactly, because and I would point out to them, but you won't take it. Why? Because you want to be divisive and dictating to other people about how they should relate. And this is really all that the right wing wants to do. As a matter of fact, I was on another program earlier today, and I asked them, because they had a guest on before me who was arguing that this Respect for Marriage Act, this is gonna prevent people who disagree from taking it to court. In other words, they can't harass people anymore by taking things to court. And I said, well, first of all, the function of the courts is not one of the courts frown on being used to harass others. And this they were saying, but the 14th Amendment is to allow you to protect. No, the 14th Amendment is about individual rights. And my question for this right-wing kind of hosts was, what standing do you have, or anybody to challenge who someone is married to, or if my family or me and my partner or a woman wants to carry a pregnancy to term? What standing? And to have standing, you have to show, number one, that you have been injured Number 2, the cause is someone else's marriage or abortion. And 3, there's a remedy that would make you whole. What standing do you have?
They don't have any standing. They have no standing. And yes, and if you were to say that to the common yo-yo on the street, they wouldn't have a clue of what you were talking about.
Well, I would say, what injury does somebody else's marriage, whatever it is, cause? And what their answer was, well, this is, what about, if you don't want to serve somebody, you don't want to be expected to be forced to participate in a same-sex marriage. You're not. I said, first of all, you cannot discriminate in the marketplace, and you don't have to. If you don't want to serve gay, if you want to sort out who you want to serve to, you then don't advertise generally in the marketplace. Don't say, if you're a baker or you're a florist, we do weddings. Just don't say that. Don't make it so that anybody can accept.
They need to write, we do straight weddings.
No, you can't do that either.
Only hetero.
You let somebody else come in and be the one to make the offer. Will you do my wedding on such and such a date? Then you can legitimately say, no, I can't do it. You can, because they made the offer, then the vendor doesn't have to accept. If the customer makes the offer, the vendor doesn't have to accept. But if the vendor advertises, we do weddings, you got to do everybody's. You can't advertise to the general public and then say, oh, except for you, you, and you. Because one of the things it does, if you do that, is it leads to corruption for someone who will say, okay, I'll do it for you. I'll do your wedding, or I'll do this goes way back in history. If you discriminate, what it does is it leaves it open to a third party to say, I'll do it for you if you only go and bomb my competitor's business, right? So they say, okay, good. So or I'll do it for you for triple the amount. They do all. There's a lot of, but then I won't put it on the books.
Hey, hey, Dr. Wonky, Paul, we're coming up against a hard break here.
One of those.
So we're going to have.
I thought we agreed there was no such thing.
We're going to have to say goodbye.
Okay.
But
that was a stirring note to end upon.
We learned a tiny bit about Ron DeSantis, and I think,
like you said, there was nothing really to learn about the mean little son of a bitch, right?
He is a drip. Once you know he's
a mean SOB.
That's all you need to know. Yeah, he's a mean drip. So thanks everybody for coming to our show today, and we will see you next time. I've been Joyce the Hammer Nance, and this is the
Paul Richardson.
Paul Richardson. He knows who he is. Okay, au revoir. Let's see here now. And